We're back.
Okay, we're back. So our internet sucked and it kicked us off.
It only took 16 minutes to get that back.
Yeah. I technically do this tech stuff for my job. I literally live stream things and they pay me for it.
But there's no way that you can just make my internet magically better.
No. I can't.
You are not a professional internet wizard.
I am not. I would need to somehow hack Comcast to do that. So I'm going to re-put this link on Facebook, so if anyone wants to watch us, they can.
We're just going to title this part 2, and they'll just
videos for title it part 2. Jordan, you start talking about
Oscars bullshit?
About Oscars bullshit. Because there's a lot of bullshit out there.
Yeah. So there are two main bullshit things from the Oscars last night. First of which being Jared Leto winning for Best Supporting Actor. It's not even so much him winning the Oscar that bothers me, it's him getting that role to begin with. So he plays, I haven't actually seen Dallas Buyers Club, which is how I didn't know this was even a thing until the Oscars. But, so he plays the character of a trans woman. The fact that I just used a male pronoun is a problem. Because, the fact that they cast a cis man to play a trans woman is just complete bullshit, in my opinion. And hopefully in everyone's opinion, except for apparently the people who cast him. It's just completely baffling to me that that choice was made. I just don't even... just why? I've also heard that the role was poorly written, which is its whole other level of bullshit, but I just, if they had just, cast an actual trans woman, that would have... She could have actually been that's not how that situation will plan out. It could have actually been a good role, and she could have actually brought something real to that role, whereas Jared Leto just, maybe he did act well in it, but, it doesn't fucking matter.
We can't judge his acting because we haven't seen it, but we know that from a technical casting perspective, in terms of being politically correct,
bullshit.
It's just not allowed.
It's just bullshit. It must be hard enough being a trans woman in Hollywood to, getting turned down for roles that, when there actually is a role that
there's appropriate for you?
Yeah, that there's no reason why a trans woman should get turned down for. The fact that they didn't even give that to a trans woman is, baffling is literally the only word I can think of. Baffling and bullshit are the only words that I can even, why?
I don't know.
I just can't.
Because there are a lot of fucked up parts of the film industry.
The fact that the award for that role was in the Best Actor category,
That's true. That role should never have been qualified for the Best Actor category.
Nope.
Has there ever been... There's never been a trans person who was up for an Oscar, was there?
Not that I know of.
I'd be interested to find out, because I would be very interested to see if they... I would assume they would have, if it was a trans woman, put it in Best Actress, but...
Yeah.
I would expect so.
Yeah.
But still,
I
don't know what else they would.
Unless they're a whole other pile of bullshit if they don't.
No, but it's still it would be interesting. It's when gender lines are becoming more and more blurred, and it'll be interesting to see how that affects the idea of Best Actor versus Best Actress.
Well, because then there's also, if there's a non-binary individual, then it's
Yeah. And why are we doing actor or an actress as two different categories? Because,
just best supporting cast member.
Yeah. Well, you can...
I guess maybe just because they want to give 2 awards, but
I can understand that.
No, it's because they view it as very, very different.
Yes,
but,
which is sad. And it's probably, I could get into a whole rant.
Yeah.
I would assume that, if that were to happen, it's very likely that, Best Actress or Best Actor or that whole category of Best Cast Person would be so much more male than female. There have been so many, articles online in the past few weeks about how very sexist and racist the film industry and the Academy tends to be, in terms of, white actors are just only ones who are ever nominated, and how many female directors have been nominated, all this stuff. And that's not necessarily only the fault of the Academy, but also the fault of the film industry in general. So I don't want to be like, boo Oscars, because I'm not against the Oscars as an institution. But
yeah, it's they go from the options that they have, and it's if there's some degree of sexism and racism at both levels, then it's it just compounds around award season.
It just gets better and worse and worse and worse and worse. So that is that first little piece of bullshit.
So much bullshit.
If
anyone's interested, there are plenty of articles that if anyone wants links to them, I can post them.
So many articles on other trans women that could have been that role, on why it's wrong. Just the internet is having a field day with this Oscars.
I'm surprised that I haven't come across anyone comparing it to blackface. I'm really surprised that no one has made that comparison. I don't know if maybe that's just taking it too far, but I'm surprised no one has said that.
That is true. I would imagine that some people could make that argument.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it said anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm because it does feel like they literally just dressed Jared Leto up as this caricature.
Yeah. We have to see the movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it has some value to it, because if it won, it has to have some moving quality to it.
And that's why I said, I'm not necessarily criticizing his performance, what he did with what he was given. I just think he never should have been cast in that role.
Exactly. So maybe we'll watch the movie and we'll discuss it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
But that's that. In other Oscar bullshit, as I predicted last week, all the things I wanted to win for animated feature, animated short, did not win. It just did not. And you know why that's wrong?
Because of reasons.
Because of so many things. Jordan said this wonderful thing earlier that made me really happy about how, Frozen wasn't a terrible movie by any means, and The Croods was an adorable animated movie, and I suppose Despicable Me wasn't a detriment upon the earth by any means.
The world hasn't been wronged by Despicable Me too.
But the shits that Hayao Miyazaki make are more artful and better in just general than any of those other things. The work that he does is just so much better than anything that has been nominated in a very long time.
I keep forgetting what the new movie is called.
Oh, The Wind Rises.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without even seeing it, I know that it should have won. Seeing his other movies, I'm yeah. There's no way that he didn't make something that is better than those other things.
But this is the deal. I read a lot of articles about the animation industry, and I know a lot about it being in that industry, and there was a great one on Cartoon Brew today about how people in the Academy just don't seem to care about the Oscars. They had, about animation, not the Oscars. I would assume they care about the Oscars because...
Sometimes I feel like they don't.
Well, very possibly they don't. Either way, they interviewed 7 or so members of the Academy on what they voted for Best Animated Feature. And out of those 7, about half abstained, and the other half voted for Frozen. One guy literally said, I have not cared about animated movies since I was 6. There was a brief period when my son was younger than 6 that I went and saw them with him. But since then, I have not cared about animated movies. And it just shows how unbelievably ignorant people, even in this industry, can be about animated films. The great thing, at least in my opinion, about The Wind Rises is that it was very much not a children's movie. It was an adult film. It was political. It was biographical. It was very liberal in a lot of ways in terms of what people show on film. It was definitely something that you would have not expected out of any animated feature that you usually see. And this is not the first movie of its kind. Animated movies have had a history in children's genre, but have very frequently moved into more serious areas. And just because someone doesn't know that animation can be serious, there is literally no reason why it can't be. It does all the same things that film does, except for it does more, because literally anything can happen in an animation. We have any old movie about any old plot line. Like, you could have made Wolf of Wall Street an animated movie and just had it all realistic looking people the entire time. You could physically do that, and it wouldn't be no different of a movie. Or you could do something that is literally impossible to do in real life. Like, what do you think all the things that CGI and everything do? Whatever. I'm ranting. I'm angry. I don't get angry. I'm angry about this. So
you get angry when Miyazaki gets slighted.
Exactly, because he's the best person ever. He is the reason I make art. He makes the best movies in the entire animation genre. He is the first person in Japan to win Best Picture for an animated movie. He was one of the first. Like, just the work he does is beyond the normal aspects of the genre, and that makes me very happy as someone in that genre. Either way, prove the Academy wrong. Go see The Wind Rises. It's out in theaters nationwide at this point. I recommend seeing the Japanese version over the English version, because I hear that the English cast does not do nearly as good of a job, but I don't know. I haven't seen that version yet. But see that. Slightly less angry about Best Animated Short. I did not necessarily expect Feral to win, it being a independent, not as much press. Like, I wanted it to because I thought it was a great movie, and I would love for an independent animator to get that kind of publicity, but I am not terribly shocked. But I had at least hoped with the Academy that someone as well known as Miyazaki, who has its distribution deal with Disney, would be something that enough people would know and care about, that they would have realized how good it is. And I just watched part of Frozen. This is another thing. And Jordan has seen all of it, and I just don't get it. Like, it's cute. It's a good movie.
It's not horrible, but it's like, I preferred Tangled.
In terms
of like new Disney. Is Tangled Disney or is Yeah, okay.
Tangled was Disney.
Like, it just wasn't like, it's kind of cool that it's like their like primary relationship is like sisters instead of like a romance. Like,
I can get behind that.
It's neat, but it's like not. I don't know. It wasn't.
And the song that's in it is good. That one best
song. I'm okay with it winning best song.
All for that.
It's cool that they had to write a whole new program to animate Elsa's hair, but like.
So.
But yeah, it's just not.
That doesn't make it a good movie. Either way, I am hurt. So very hurt. And I could rant about this forever, but maybe not all of you care that much about animation. So let's talk about other Oscar stuff, because there's a lot of them there. There's a whole lot of them there.
Although, one more thing, because the fact that like so many people abstained for animated feature does bring up for me, like, I've always assumed, like, because usually I haven't seen most of the Oscars movies just because, like, I don't go to the movies that often.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I always assumed that the people that are voting have seen all the movies. And now it's occurring to me, like, maybe they haven't. Maybe they just vote, like, with their gut or, like, based on what their friends have said.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the article right now from Gartoon Brew, and out of the ones that voted for Frozen, they don't know. None of them talk about any of the other films in their thing, except for one of them liked Despicable Me 2 also.
Like, I wonder how many of the people that voted just, like...
Didn't even see the other movies. Yeah, either way, great article, Cartoon Brew, on, it's called Definitive Proof That Academy Voters Are Ignorant About Animation. Read it. It's very interesting. It has a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of really cool stuff. Either way, let's move on to the good parts of the Oscars, because there were a lot of awesome parts of the Oscars this year.
Ellen bought her own pizza.
Ellen ordered... First,
well, see, I guess she didn't buy your own pizza. She ordered it.
Ellen DeGeneres is the best. That was what we learned about the Oscars this year. She was an excellent host. I haven't seen all the Oscars. I saw some of it, but...
I've mostly seen GIFs of it. I haven't actually seen video.
Yeah, if you've been on the internet since the Oscars, you know all about it. Some of her big stunts included a selfie with as many celebrities as possible, and it has become the most retweeted tweet on Twitter.
Of the tweets.
Of all tweets, this is the one that people tweet about the most. And it's a brilliant photo. It has Bradley Cooper and Meryl Streep and Jennifer Lawrence and Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Just like, oh, Kevin Spacey, I think, is in the back there. Is that Julia Roberts? I don't know. There are a lot of really famous people, and they're all taking a selfie at the Oscars. Pretty exciting. And what else did she do that was great? She ordered pizza for everyone, which was wonderful. And there's a lot of that on the internet as well. A lot of pictures of, like, you know...
Brad Pitt handing out paper plates.
Exactly. Jamie Foxx and his daughter munching down on pizza. It's pretty great. And it really...
I just can't imagine wearing a dress that was like several $1,000s.
And then eating pizza and like possibly getting... It just proves how much everyone loves pizza.
Yes. Well, also how much money these people have that it doesn't really matter if they ruin those dresses.
That's also true. Yeah. But what's also interesting, in my opinion, about this whole event is how much people were involved with social media throughout it. It being obviously something that is mostly attended by famous people. Most people at the Oscars are either in the industry or famous. They're the people who follow them on Twitter. And so all of them are live tweeting and doing all this crazy stuff. And there is a hilarious amount of photos that celebrities took of themselves at the Oscars. And you always see all these photos of people posing and looking very glamorous in front of the camera. These are not those photos. Every one of them is making a stupid face. They're photobombing. They're just ridiculous. Some of the most popular ones, Benedict Cumberbatch photobombed U2. Look that up.
He's already a goofy-looking dude, so he photobombs really goofily.
And there's one of Anne Hathaway photobombing Jessica Biel. And, like, these are people who you think of as, you know, kind of, like, you know, into their image, traditionally feminine in a lot of ways. They're actresses. They're stars. They are supposed to come off as glamorous as much as possible. And this Oscars was the first one that I had seen that...
Everything's just so silly.
And this is that. None of that. There were, like, funny pictures of everyone. There's this great photo of Jennifer Lawrence and... Lupita, or
Lupita, yeah.
Lupita just tearing the Oscar award away from one another because they, like, as a joke. And we all know Jennifer Lawrence to be hilarious in general. She once again this year tricked at the Oscars, this time outside of it on a traffic cone instead of on stage. She has a bunch of really goofy stuff, and her whole deal as like an image of a person is that she is so real and into how normal she can also be and how goofy that is in comparison to the average glamorous actress. There's a great GIF going on online where she waves her arm like this, and that part of your arm right here that, like, no matter how, like, thin you are is always going to be jiggly. like, she just shows it off, and she laughs about it, and she laughs about her falling, and she accepts so much of how flawed all humans must be.
She also usually complains that there's no food at these things.
Yes, there's a famous quote from last year that she's like, "Where's the pizza?" Spot pizza. So thank you, Jennifer Lawrence, for being funny and being human and realizing we all want pizza, especially famous people.
Hungry famous people.
We all just want pizza. There are a lot of great photos, but a lot of them are also the after parties. They're not all taken at the actual event. One of these favorites of mine is Amy Poehler is being held up by Bill Murray and Paul Rudd and Bill Hader and the majority of the cast of Parks and Rec, as well as Andy Samberg. They're all just holding her up, like, in their arms, and she's, like, falling over. And it's hilarious. And I saw all these pictures of different actors just hanging out at after parties. And there was, what's his name, that was in Pineapple Express and Knocked Up? Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari talking to each other in a photo, and I was like, holy crap, that would be one of the funniest conversations to ever exist.
What do you two even talk about?
Why am I not there? And so earlier today when we were doing research of all this Oscar stuff, I realized that I want to be famous, not because I need people to know what I'm doing or I need all that attention, but because two reasons. The people you meet would be awesome, because I want to hang out with Amy Poehler all the time, and Jennifer Lawrence and all of them. And also, number two, the clothes would be awesome. I want to wear those clothes. I don't have excuses to wear ball gowns every day, and I should.